This is Reverend Dan. I'm here with Donna and Alvin. They were my first case. So they're here to talk about their experience with what happened. So why don't you guys start?
Well, my name's Alvin. Just want to say hi. And if I can remember correctly, about 5 years ago, we had these gentlemen come to our house for the first time. We had a little incident. We would need some help. And he was going to come.
I was actually the one that called for the help.
This is my wife, Donna. And it started out with she was receiving some scratches on her back, her neck, some on her forearm, and her arms. And some of the things that she was saying or doing, some of the marks were red. You can actually see the
Like welts.
welts and scratch. Some of them were pretty long, and they were actually a little deep too. Some of them bled, but she was saying sometimes she was like, kill me, or while I was sleeping, or at the time her eyes, by her expression, if she ever came across a church, when we used to go for a walk, we would walk on the other side of the street from the church, even mention the word cross, she would just like cringe. And there was, steps, or as she's right now she's sitting down, she would just get up and leave the room. Some of the things I experienced was pretty terrifying. 5 years ago, I was not weighing what I weigh now, but some of the things I had to do to help whatever was taking over her body, mind, the spirit of her laughter, and what kind of person she was. It would actually put chills in you, because me being her husband and being supportive.
Well, back then you were not married yet, right?
Yeah.
This happened before we married again.
Okay.
It was like it was happening while we were in that process.
Engaged.
I just want to say, I'm glad this gentleman came and did what he did for us.
Very thankful.
And we are really grateful that he was able to help us turn our lives around and do a 360. Because wherever it took my wife over, at that time, I hate to say this, but at one time I had to hold her down and say phrases from the Bible, try to get this, whatever was in her soul, or at that time. It was like taking on 10 people in one little 5 feet woman. And boy, after it was all done, had to say whatever I had to do or did at that time to help get my wife back to be a loving, caring, supporting human being that she is now was worth it. I don't want to keep on going on, but if she's willing to talk, you can hear something from her.
Just for the record, she's crying, pretty much, right now.
If you want, I'll keep on going when you feel like you're ready to talk. I give the floor to you. But the gentleman who's recording this, he brought some cameras and some books. She told this gentleman, and I give this guy a lot of credit, because he was like, wow.
He needed help.
Yeah, like she just said, if you ever heard her, she just said, at that time he needed a lot of help.
Because something was wrong.
Did you guys ever try to get in touch with the Catholic Church?
They wouldn't help us because we were living together. We weren't married yet.
And that
They
was
wouldn't
it.
help us. Yeah, we did call, and they said no. Because we weren't married and we were living together.
And that's
So
it.
they were against.
Yeah. And I said, well, there goes that toilet. Sorry.
I really don't understand. I don't understand because if you're a church, you're supposed to be helping people. I'm sure other people have been living together before they got married. So if we're calling out for help, you're not going to help us. Come on.
So, at the time, my wife, becoming my wife, because we were engaged at the time, she went online and looked up Dan, the guy who recorded this. She pulled me aside. She says, I found somebody who's willing to help. You want to give it a try and have him come out and take a whack at it.
I don't even remember how I found it. It's weird how it came up. I just found it and I called it. I don't even know. I don't even remember how or it just, I found it and
It was the person inside your body. You were trying to fight this thing by yourself, and what it did one day
I
or
think it was
one
God,
night.
honestly.
Because
I really do. I think it was God.
because this is letting you.
How did I just came across it and there's no explanation. No explanation.
If that was picked up on the camera, that was a cat.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be so.
we got a 45-pound cat.
Yeah. It's just him.
It's just
But that, to me, was God. That was God giving me a son. Because I don't know otherwise how we would have gotten there. I really don't.
So
So I thank God every night and every day for everything. For everything. I really do. Because this, I would not be understand. Honestly, it just, I wasn't a believer before. I was a skeptic, but definitely a believer now. That's for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, because down from the road from now, I know Dan's got some photos, and I know there's also out on Facebook, there's a video of my wife, before she became my wife, when she just said that she needs to get up. She went to the kitchen. It's also on YouTube, the video is. That she had to go to, use the bathroom. And she walked right past us like something just told her to go outside. She went to the door, went down the steps. Keep in mind, she did this bare feet. No jacket. It was a little chilly out, but she didn't put no sweater on or nothing. She just had a pair of John bottoms on and a t-shirt. And she didn't go down the steps because we got wooden steps that go to our second floor apartment. You would have heard her hitting the steps as she was going down. She didn't make no sound whatsoever. She floated down the steps. And at the bottom of our steps, we got a platform.
I don't remember
She went to the platform.
anything.
And then after the 2 steps after the platform, we got rocks. She just floated across the rocks, then we got blacktop. And then she walked right across the rocks, walked across the blacktop, and I went after her, and I came up behind her, I tapped her on the right shoulder, and I said, "Where are you going, sweetheart?" And she goes, "Something told me I needed to go to this area that's blocked off now. Thank goodness it's covered up. It was like a underground tunnel or some kind of shape or form. Back in the olden days, when we used to have air raids in the war, they used these tunnels to walk on the ground. But I got her to snap out of it, whatever was pushing over her at the time. And then she followed me back to the blacktop. And then when we got to the rocks, she's like, "Ouch, it's hurting my feet. These rocks are sharp." And then going up the steps.
That's what I remember. Because it did hurt.
Yeah.
That's what I remember, but I don't remember anything. Any of that. I don't remember.
And then we went
I don't remember.
back up the steps. You can hear her feet hitting the steps. And I'm like, okay. And then we got to the doorway. She came in. She sat back on the couch. And I said to her, "How do you feel?" She goes, "About what?" I go, "You just went outside." She said, "And then now you came back up. And you said your feet hurt. And you got a little chilly. And
Yeah, those rocks hurt.
yeah."
And that's the thing too. I don't even remember any of that. None of it. I remember coming back and yeah, it really freaking hurt. That part I remember because it hurt. Coming back up and everything, that part I remember. The rest of it, it's a freaking blur. It's like, it never happened to me. And when I saw the video, that's when it was like, that's me. I did that. Like, it's just, you don't. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, you have no recollection of it. But then
I've seen something that you don't even know. It's you. No,
no, not at the time you didn't. But then, as you came back in, sat back on the couch, Reverend Dan goes, "How do you feel now, Donna?" And you said, "I was a little chill, my feet hurt." "Why do you ask?" And next thing you know, you went from talking to us as Donna, and then your whole image just did a 360. Like a switch came over. And I'm looking at you. You went from your eyes to jet black. And I'm like looking at you, and then your voice just said, "Get away from me." And I'm like, I was like, "Who is this time?" And you're like, "This ain't Donna. This is so-and-so." And I'm like, "Okay. You gonna tell me who you are or what you are?" "Nope. Just need you to back off and go sit somewhere else." And I'm like, "That ain't gonna happen." And I said, "I know Donna, my fiance. She's in there somewhere, and I want to talk to her again. And it told me some things I'm not gonna repeat, but it's not appropriate, because we don't need certain people to hear this. It's just unacceptable. The language was unbelievable. It went from Donna talking normally about chili or feet hurt, saying what we're going to do next day, and whatever, it turned into Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde. It started getting the power of 10 people in a little petite woman. I mean, I don't know. Me being her fiance, I just said to myself, sorry, she's getting this one right to shoot me. I mean, whoever sees this tape, or whoever comes across this eventually, you're allowed to think whatever you want to think. But I'm trying to be civilized and tell you, it's no joke. Hope nobody else ever has to encounter what my future wife went through, and myself, and this gentleman, Dan, the Reverend, went through that night. I mean, me being the way I was, had a background of being on a squad, and being a security guard, and being active like I was at the time, and all that had to come involved and came handy. I hate to say it, because we couldn't get a name out of her, who it was, but I don't want to say the name.
No, not gonna say anything.
Keep it at that. But
And that was the best thing ever. Once he got the name, it means that thing lost all power. It lost all control.
yeah,
Thank God.
yeah.
Lost all power.
So, how did this happen?
I don't know how it happened, but I do know that something, whether it was just negativity that was built up over the years with things that are happening with family, things that are happening with my mom, who started being the way she was. She was just an all-around nasty person.
Did she try to hurt you?
My sister and my dad tried to protect me from her, and I found that out now because I talked to my sister. And yeah, she tried to hurt herself while she was pregnant with me. She tried to hurt me after she had me. And my sister even told me she was the one that actually told my dad, because she was the one that actually saw her do what she did when she threw me in the crib. So my sister was the one that told my dad. She actually stood over and was trying to protect me like a shield. My sister was the one that actually, she told me a lot of stuff and things, and she said she pretty much calls me her daughter mostly because my sister actually took care of me when my mom died. And I believe it because my mom half the time is either too effed up, and I say effed up because I'm gonna curse. But she was just too messed up. I just accept it for what it is. And I don't talk to my mom. And I have a great relationship with my sister, and I have a great relationship with my dad. So, one person, I still pray for my mom every night, every day, because that's what you do. To forgive, and you have to forgive somebody. Like they say, to forgive yourself or move on. Doesn't mean you don't forget, but you can forgive them and still keep them in your prayers. Because it makes you a better person. And just forgive them. I forgive her. Forget.
Is there any other type of trauma that happened in your life?
There's a lot of trouble. And I think that's what evil, it feeds off that. I had family members molest me when I was younger. I was raped.
And now she's got a big old teddy bear that hugs her, loves her, watches over her, holds her, makes her giggle, makes her laugh, smile. She trips over me, I trip over her. And I do what I can to have her move on and just think of good things.
I believe that trauma can let anything that's negative, because it feeds off that. So if you let any of that trauma, and if you're weak, it feeds off you being weak. And it fed off me. I was at a weak state of my mind, and it fed off of it. It fed off the fact I was hurt. It fed off the fact that I was cutting myself. It fed off of all of it. It thought I had nobody. I hated my family, because they let a lot of stuff happen to me. They didn't do anything about it. So I thought I had nobody. And that's when I decided to enter my life. I did a lot of things myself that I shouldn't have done. I tried to do some Wiccan. I tried to mess with a Ouija board. lot of things I should have done. And it's probably another reason why I was lonely. I had no friends, no family as I felt. Because of everything that happened to me. Nobody protected me. Nobody was there. So that's how I felt.
And then about around this time, here it is now, August. I'm not taking a lot of credit, but somewhere out of the blue, I was sitting home, just relaxing, because I think the time I reached out to Donna was the night either I was off or I was just watching TV. But I know it was in the afternoon. And somehow I just picked up the phone, my cell phone, and I called her mom and her stepdad, Bob.
My mom didn't even want me to talk to him.
Yeah,
Because she knew he was a good person. She didn't want him to be in my life. And now we're married. Happily married.
Yes, we are.
But
we're proud to say that.
I will go into, I had a nasty car accident before I met him, anything. I was in my high school senior year, and somebody was watching over me in that car accident. I will say that. And that's what really, I was going to try to turn my life around after that. Because I could have died. The car door was accordion style, passenger side, with my leg stuck in it. I could have been decapitated.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have been sitting up. And I was laying back. I lost a lot of blood. I weighed 135 pounds. And I woke up in the hospital weighing less than 100 pounds. I weighed 95 pounds. That's how much blood I lost. And they said I could have died from either being decapitated or killed.
It's the same.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, this thing is migrant. But I could have been decapitated. I could have. They have given me blood transfusions. And I have rods and screws down my leg because my leg was fractured in the door, in the passenger door. It was bent. So I have rods here, a rod here, screws here, maybe screws in my ankle, but they removed them. And I have a rod here. So,
She's part bionic.
but they told me if I would have been sitting up, yeah, I would have lost my head. And there was a couple ways I could have died. But somebody was watching me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so I think he really was. It's weird.
That's all right.
So when you guys met and your mom, do you think your mom had anything to do with this as well?
I talked to her right before the car accident. I called her from a payphone I told her we were okay.
This is you and your grandma.
Yeah.
Man.
My phone was dead. I had a cell phone at the time, but it was dead. I didn't have a charger for it in the car. So I called her from a payphone, and I was like, we're gonna be there, soon on the road. Everything's okay right now. And I hung up with her on the payphone. I went back in the car. My grandmother started falling asleep. I said, Grandma, why don't you just pull over and sleep? She was like, oh, I'm okay, I'm alright. It's okay. I'm gonna go to sleep. I had my seatbelt on, I put my chair back. As I put my chair back, I fell asleep. And before I knew it, I woke up and, excuse me, the whole car was just crashed. And I looked at my grandmother, and I was actually cursing at her. And I feel so bad for that now. I know she's in heaven. I felt so bad. I cursed at her, like, what did you do? What the F did you do? Like, I told you, you should have pulled over and went to sleep. Now look. And then the guy came over. I had this army guy standing in front of me, like, do you know what your name is? Do you know your age? All these questions. And I'm like, why are you asking me these questions? And he's like, don't look at your leg. What do you mean don't look at my leg? So when I looked at it, it was stuck in the passenger side door. It was stuck in the door. And I just started screaming. I didn't know what to do. I had to get a helicopter to the hospital. It was just a lot. And that's more trauma. And on top of already more trauma. And my life has been nothing but just shit on top of shit on top of shit. I mean, it's nothing good has gone on in my life except my son and my husband. And the fact that I have a wonderful sister, and yes, I do have a wonderful dad who loves me very, very much. I have a wonderful husband who loves me. I have a wonderful son. And my sister loves and cares about me too. And I'm sorry that I didn't talk to her sooner, but I made a mistake because I assumed she was part of my mom, but she really isn't. She wants nothing to do with my mom. So really, I had that all screwed up. Because she's wants nothing to do with her mom.
Do you think your mom had anything to do with the possession?
I don't know if it was her, or maybe it was just all the trouble. I don't know what to say anymore.
Was she in a witch's coven? Or a witch?
It's not
It's a little buddy.
No. I honestly, I don't know what to believe because she used to say some crazy things and do crazy things, so I don't even know. And then when I talk to my sister now, she's like, I'm a witch, are you kidding me? She would never be a witch. But I don't think my sister would do anything like that. I know she used to be wicked, but she believes in nature. She's all about good. She doesn't like negative stuff, so I don't know her. If anybody's negative, it's my mother. She's the most negative person I've ever met. And if she can't be happy, nobody can be happy. So I don't know what to do. I don't know if it's just Trilla that brought it in, or if it's her. I don't know. I mean, could have heard it, but something brought it in, and it messed up my life. And
So what did it feel like?
But it was
What did the whole possession feel like?
if I was in a back seat, I would just black out. No remembrance, no nothing. I don't remember anything. I still to this day, I ask him, can you tell me what happened? Because I don't remember. I mean, it's like a blackout. You don't remember. It's just like you're not there. Somebody else has the front seat. You're not in control anymore at that point. Somebody else is. So you're gone. So it's like it's just black. Blank. You don't do nothing.
Could you see where you were?
To me, I was just in a dark room. Just in complete darkness, just watching from a view.
So you could see everything that happened.
And trying to reach but couldn't reach. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you were.
And in other words, I couldn't reach, do anything, or fight, because I was weak. So I couldn't get to, I wasn't strong. But now I am. And that's why this thing messed with me again. Because I put up a fight. And it don't want to mess with me. So that's not the good thing.
Alvin, what did you experience? Besides her trying to kill you.
No. No.
It came out pretty clear. And when I told it that it needed to turn around and look in the mirror and saw where it was at the time, it got madder because the person it took over, not trying to say the wrong thing, but I'm going to throw it out there. It was mad because it was in a woman's body and you were a little petite little thing at the time. Not, but you still are. No.
I do it all. That. See? You just said it. You just said it. You just said it.
No.
No.
It's called happiness now.
You don't say it to a woman.
I didn't say that. You said it.
You just said it.
I just said petite. Okay?
Not petite anymore.
You're saying that, not me. But don't go where you're called. You're a better person now. But that's what I was trying to get to the point. Up to that point, when it looked in the mirror.
By the way, I don't kill people. I don't believe in murder.
At that time you didn't, but when this thing tried to take you over, and it looked in the mirror, it started laughing, but it got mad because it figured it was in the wrong body at the time. Because it really couldn't do anything, but it got the power and strength of 10 people in your little body. Okay? It ain't the fact, or it's not a really good idea to torment it and aggravate it, but I try to put it in its place by saying, Heavenly Father, the Lord, and you go from there. Try to keep positive and not talk negative, because it wants you to go down that road and get angry and get mad. Because it feeds off of that kind of thing. As long as you keep your attitude positive and talk right. Right.
Now, I'm more positive, I'm more happy, and I wake up every morning, even if I feel like I didn't get a good night's sleep, I don't care. I'm still gonna find a way to be positive, be happy. I'm alive, I'm happy. I thank God, I praise Him every morning, and say thank you, God, I'm alive. I mean, we went through so much.
Yeah, but I'm trying to not sugarcoat it, but trying to sleep with one eye at night open, the other one closed, and try to be on defense mode sometimes, because you never knew when the switch, like a light switch, was going to go off. 1 minute, Donna would be Donna. The next thing, it'd be like a hurricane. And then I would have to hop from a nice, comfortable, resting, sleeping, to like Andre the Giant.
I went and I saw a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
I went and saw a psychiatrist. No issues. Perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with me.
No, because the psychiatrist was going to understand that they were really prepared for that kind of thing to come out. That's why they need you.
I went to a psychiatrist. I talked to him about my problems. I went and I talked to a psychiatrist about all my problems. Like I mean, everything I went through, I had to go to a psychiatrist to talk to somebody. Because it's not like I didn't talk to someone.
But they didn't have the right technology.
I didn't know that thing would feed off it. And it got to a point where I got so depressed in my life that I felt like I was shit. I said, why is this happening to me? Why does this keep happening to me?
Because of...
And then I feel like once I got to that point,
Yeah. But then...
I feel like this thing was like, oh, she's at her weakest, and let's attack.
And that's what it did.
That's what I feel.
And it came at you full force. It didn't come up like a little ice cream truck. It came at you like a hurricane. And took all the good that you had left and just pushed it aside. And it came out. A couple nights when it came out, yeah, I got no work.
I feel like my mom did have something to do with it. I feel like she really did. Because she was the most negative person. She was the most negative person. So no matter how positive you could be, when she was around, it would be so negative.
Yeah, because she wanted everybody else to be miserable like her. If you had anything kind of good going your way for a change, she always turned it around back on her and tried to destroy your happiness.
When she was here,
Yeah,
she turned everything around in here, everything. And that's what really changed too. When she was here,
she got you and I.
before she came here, everything was great, and then all of a sudden, things just got worse, 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 worse.
Because she had a black cloud behind her.
And her negativity started.
Yeah, taking over our house.
Bringing it here.
Right.
And with the tunnel, already we had stuff going on.
That's why a couple times I came to you and I said to you, it wouldn't be a good idea because she's a negative person. She's full of evil. She's just bad juju. Bad vibes. Goodbye. And the more that I stayed away and I was in the hospital trying to take care of the situation I had to take care of because I had abscess at the time.
She was here.
Yeah. I had Angel watching over me, but you were left vulnerable to her evil, wicked. And whatever was taking over her was slowly going out of her, which went into you. Because you started losing sight, losing happiness. Because every time you felt kind of like I should talk to husband now, because we were married at the time. She said, "Nah, he's doing all right. Don't worry about him." And you're like, trying to tell her, like pulling a tooth out of a shark. But when she found out that we were getting engaged and then planning the wedding, she was kind of hoping that it would all have crashed and went down in fire, but you and I held our ground, made our wedding plans.
We made our wedding plans, we got married, and thanks to Reverend Dan, honestly, I'm so thankful and grateful. Thanks to God, thanks to Reverend Dan, helped us so much. And it's emotional, but it's like, really.
What would be your advice for anybody going through something like this today?
Help.
Even for families.
Get help. Because you don't want anything like this coming in. You don't. And that's why we're doing this, to help people. Because it's not funny, it's not a joke. Don't mess with this stuff.
Not by yourself.
Get help.
Yeah.
And seek help.
And do your research.
Because you can hurt the
Right.
people you love.
Yep.
It can hurt you. So get help. Because once you let the evil in,
You can't take it on by yourself. If you try to, you're just going to end up hurting people that really love around you, and this thing will eat you alive. But you do your research. You find, if you got someone in your life, you find that person, you talk to that person, go online, go to church, talk to the reverend, the preacher, and just buckle down. Because you find somebody like we did, Reverend Dan, and you get the word out,
so thankful.
it will turn around for good. And you gotta be positive. Keep looking up.
Don't like negativity on your life.
And eat your vegetables.
Because that's what it was.